version where we had Take Me Back Home out at the time. And I think that was about their fourth hit record. And I was in Tramps this night, and Take Me Back Home, I think it was Take Me Back Home, it got to about 8 in the chart. And I was sitting in Tramp, and this guy tapped us on the shoulder, and he says, I got to tell you, I love Slade records. He says, do you think Take Me Back Home will go to number 1? And look, this guy, and I vaguely recognised him from somewhere. And I said, I don't know. I says, I wanted to go to number 1. I says, but I heard a record just the other day, Rock and Roll Parts 1 and 2 by a guy called Gary Glitter. I says, I think it's a great record, and I think it might just put him to the post. And he says, oh, thanks very much, I'm Gary Glitter. And I said, well, you didn't used to be called that. He says, no, Paul. He says, and then I realised he used to be the floor manager at Ready, Steady, Go, you know.
Gary Glitter, previously known as Paul Raven, had been hustling around the music business since the late 50s, and his talent for working an audience landed him the job of warm-up man on the television show Ready, Steady, Go. It was there that he bumped into arranger and songwriter Mike Leander, then working with artists like Marianne Faithfull and Engelbert Humperdinck.
He used to come to my flat, and we'd go through and sing some soul records, and I decided there and then that, you know, we're going to have a hit with Paul Raven, as he was known then. And records were coming out by Paul under all sorts of different names. Rubber Bucket was one group, and we did a vocal version of an old American folk song called Amazing Grace. It was a truly awful record.
That's quite enough of that. Undaunted by flop after flop, Leander and Raven stuck at it year in, year out, until one night, in true fairy tale style, they stumbled across the magic formula which would transform the singer into the embodiment of glam rock. Gary Glitter.
Mike Leander played the drums. In fact, he started life as a drummer before he became an A&R man for Decca. And because we only used guitar, bass and drums on the record, he and I both devised this idea of using 2 arrangements of drums. It was just Mike and I. We played on everything. And Mike played most of the instruments. I used to sit twiddling the knobs with John Hudson and saying, no, let's try that bit. No, I like what you did before. That's better. And it was just a bit of trial and error. Between us, we did it all. It was easier than teaching a band, you know, to do things that you were making up anyway as you went along.
I'm a mean drummer. I have to tell you, not many people know this. I had my own technique of playing drums, which was very African-based, okay? Lots of tom-toms, and the sound effects we got on the drums and various other instruments. So it was a combination of my drumming and John Hudson's wizardry on the knobs. That guitar sound is, to this day, still a secret. I'm not going to tell anyone. I was very pleased with it. I dreamed it up, got into the studio, saw that it worked, and we used it on at least the first 10 Gary Glitter records. And more or less, I played all the instruments on those. Recognised as soon as we'd had a hit that Gary Glitter was a visual artist. Almost above everything else, he had to be seen. And it was his live appearances that really, to my mind, established him. But spectacular showmanship, you know, over the top, madness, fun, party. I mean, every Gary Glitter concert was a party. You were invited to a party. Every Gary Glitter record was an invitation to a party. Come along and be in my gang.
You wanna be in my gang, my gang, my gang. You wanna be in my gang. Oh yeah. You wanna be in my gang, my gang, my gang. You wanna be in my gang. I'm the leader, I'm the leader, I'm the leader of the gang. I'm the leader, I'm the leader, I'm the man who got the bang gang.
When you get a big hit with Hey, 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 and you got to follow that, you figure, well, you better just stay in line with that. So everything became come on, hello, hello. Most of it was talking about me. And also, as a kid, I grew up with rock and roll as being fun. Most, you know, the Purple People Eater and I'm Not a Juvenile Delinquent and stuff like that. You know, Rock Around the Clock. This is all fun. I ain't nothing but a hound dog. It was always fun. And so that's really what I know, and that's what we do. I mean, those chants, we spent hours. I remember doing we wrote Leader of the Gang very quickly. You know, if we want to do my gang, that came quite quick. But the come on bit, we spent nearly 24 hours trying to write come on in the right way to get the chanting thing.
He was a star waiting to happen. And people can be forgiven for not seeing that. I was lucky enough to have worked with him for a couple of years before that. And that's what kept me going, is the thought that, you know, I knew this guy's going to be a monster. If we just get the right record, it's going to be enormous. And I think there were, in other artists, a degree of, let's say, manufacturing an article for consumption, but certainly not in Gary's case. I mean, don't for one moment think that I was the Machiavellian Eminence Screws pulling strings for some puppet. It was nothing like that at all. He had the most fabulous ideas at every level, for the songs, for the records, for his clothes, his image, his live appearances. He knew what he was doing from the moment that record entered the charts. He knew.
Some people call me the king of glam and everything. I don't believe that. I think that Mark Bolan was undoubtedly a year ahead on that side of things. But I just took the glitter side that little bit further at that point. And then I was much tougher and had a much, much more boyish attitude than the others did, I think, as opposed to Mark, who was a lot more sort of floaty and scarves and gentle. You know, I was still more like a rocker or a football crowd type attitude.
Irrepressible Gary Glitter.